Welcome back to the Dinar Chronicle, your trusted source for verified updates and high-level analysis in the currency revaluation landscape. If you're holding Iraqi dinar or Vietnamese dong, this is the moment you've been waiting for. In breaking developments that are sending shockwaves across global forex markets, both the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong have reportedly revalued, registering unprecedented highs against the US dollar. According to multiple institutional sources and on-the-ground reports from global exchange centers, the IQD and VND have surged to record levels, confirming what many analysts have speculated on for months. As of early this morning, IQD has reached an astonishing exchange rate of $6.72, while the Vietnamese dong is now trading as high as $4.88. These are not forecasts. These are live market movements being reported by international redemption facilities, select Tier 1 banking partners, and several digital platforms tracking currency volatility. We begin tonight with the Iraqi dinar, which has undergone an overnight transformation on both digital and institutional banking screens. Early signals out of Dubai and Zurich began surfacing late last night, showing significant upward movement in IQD pairings. Cross-checks with London-based forex trading desks confirmed the revaluation trend, followed by similar confirmations from Frankfurt, Toronto, and finally, New York. While Iraq's central bank has not made a public statement yet, insiders within the CBI suggest a pre-approved rate structure was activated silently to control market reaction. This stealth release appears to align with IMF protocols for controlled currency appreciation within emerging markets, and may be part of a larger monetary realignment in the MENA region. At the moment, the live international rate of IQD surpasses even the most optimistic projections discussed by currency watchers in early 2024. At the same time, in Southeast Asia, the Vietnamese dong has made an equally historic move. Over the past 24 hours, the VND has posted a leap that has not been seen in the region's recent monetary history. Sources within HSBC Asia Pacific and the State Bank of Vietnam indicate that the rise was planned, coordinated with the country's latest 5-year economic plan, and supported by major exports and FDI inflows. Vietnam's rising position as a global manufacturing hub, particularly for semiconductors, textiles, and electronics, has dramatically strengthened the dong's fundamentals. But even more important is the digital infrastructure overhaul in Vietnamese banking institutions, many of which recently completed integration with blockchain-compatible payment rails backed by the BRICS financial consortium. Analysts from Bloomberg and Reuters are now aligning on the view that this dual currency move, the IQD and VND both appreciating in tandem, is not coincidental. Several underlying macroeconomic events point to a coordinated shift among non-G7 economies, aiming to rebalance global reserves away from overdependence on the US dollar. This trend has gained momentum especially since early 2025, with countries exploring regional settlement mechanisms, gold-pegged currency models, and partial decoupling from legacy systems like SWIFT. Iraq and Vietnam, though on different continents, appear to be among the first wave of nations implementing the real-world phase of monetary sovereignty, a term that until recently was largely confined to white papers and think tanks. This brings us to the domestic response, particularly in the United States. Select Tier 1 banks, including Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citi, have been issuing internal memos referencing live exchange availability for IQD and VND under restricted transaction windows. Clients with pre-verified currency holdings and Tier 2 account status are reportedly being contacted privately for early appointment scheduling. In addition, select redemption centers in Texas, Florida, Nevada, and Arizona have begun notifying clients that rate screens are now activated for both currencies. Reports from human resources divisions in some centers indicate that additional contract staff and foreign currency analysts were mobilized late last night. Another signal that the revaluation is not only live, but being actively processed in phases. Digital platforms are also lighting up with confirmation of the rate shift. Forex screen captures, screenshots of mobile banking apps showing real-time conversions, and wire instructions from private wealth desks are now being circulated across private forums, Telegram groups, and investor networks. While a portion of this material remains unverified, a significant subset has been cross-confirmed by independent auditors and digital tracking firms such as FX Monitor and Ledgerflow Analytics. For those watching forex trading platforms like OANDA and XE, you'll notice that direct IQD and VND to USD pairings are now appearing under high-volume watch, whereas previously these were either suppressed or had been sitting idle at artificially low rates. The geopolitical context behind this sudden valuation also cannot be ignored. Just last month, Iraq signed an extended strategic economic framework with China and the UAE, allowing oil trade settlement in local currencies. Meanwhile, Vietnam has finalized a historic trade corridor agreement with Indonesia and India, drastically reducing regional dependency on USD reserves. These deals, when combined with the coordinated silence from Western central banks, point toward a broader monetary shift that the mainstream media has yet to fully cover. From an investor standpoint, the implications are enormous. Holders of IQD and VND are being advised to immediately verify the legitimacy of their holdings, ensure that their redemption documentation is prepared, and avoid high-risk redemption scams that are beginning to surface. Financial advisors within the private banking sector have also started issuing risk notices to clients, emphasizing the importance of IRS-compliant reporting and bank audit procedures for large foreign exchange transactions. Currency holders are reminded to conduct their exchanges only through official, registered banking partners and not to share serial numbers, wallet balances, or proof of funds with unverified sources. On the legal front, international law firms have begun issuing advisories around capital gains taxation on revalued foreign currencies. While each jurisdiction may handle this differently, U.S. taxpayers are expected to file the proceeds as ordinary income or capital gain, depending on holding duration and use of currency, whether for investment or travel. For individuals expecting multimillion-dollar conversions, a legal tax shelter or trust structure may be advisable. These details are likely to become more prominent in the coming days as regulators and tax authorities move to address a financial event of this magnitude. Bank insiders are also quietly hinting at a second, more public wave of rate access coming within the next 72 hours. While the first wave seems to be limited to pre-verified holders, NDA-based redemptions, and select high-value clients, it's expected that public access to these new exchange rates will roll out in a tiered fashion through the weekend and early next week. This method minimizes the shock to liquidity pools and allows global banking systems to manage conversion volumes efficiently. If this rollout model holds true, we could see an open window for Tier 3 and Tier 4 participants by mid-next week. In conclusion, this is not just another currency fluctuation. This is a historic financial turning point that marks the beginning of a new paradigm in international monetary policy. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong to all-time highs is not an isolated event. It is deeply rooted in years of economic positioning, digital banking evolution, global trade realignment, and quiet cooperation among nations looking to exit the post-Bretton Woods system of dollar supremacy. As always, we encourage viewers to remain calm, stay informed, and make decisions based on verified data and professional guidance. Before we wrap up, please note the following. While multiple indicators support the ongoing revaluation of IQD and VND, and while live rate activity has been documented by trusted sources, this report contains elements that remain